Hello, and welcome to Only Fools in SCFC. So this is, as you know, is the brand new feature that we've got on the show this season, Inside the Opposition, where look ahead, a bit of a preview to the weekend's game. Obviously, this weekend we've got Brentford, so I'm absolutely buzzing. See what I did there? To have Brentford fan and fellow fanlist Simon from B on the Wall YouTube channel. Hi, Simon. How are you doing?
How you doing, Wayne? Thanks so much for having me on. Can't wait to get started on here. Yeah, where do we go?
There we go. So we'll just have a little bit of a delve into Brentford's kind of start of the season, how they're getting on, what the transfer business was, and then obviously look ahead to our game at the weekend. But first of all, obviously from looking from the outside in, Thomas Frank would have been a massive blow to lose him in the summer. You know, what's your thoughts on the whole Thomas Frank situation? Did you expect to keep him?
It was a bit of a shock. I think it's no surprise that teams would have been sniffing around him, and there would have been talks ongoing with him because he's just such a good manager. But sometimes it's sort of one of those where it works really well in Brentford, but it might not work so well. We've seen it with players where they've been amazing for us. Ben Rama, for example, got his move to West Ham, and then it just didn't work for him. Some things just don't work outside of Brentford, but Thomas Frank, as we can see from the first couple of games and even pre-season and the Super Cup as well, he's got off to a flyer, and the Tottenham fans absolutely love him already. But that was always going to be a thing because he's such a lovely guy. He's a really nice guy to talk to. He's got time for everyone, and he'll change the whole mantra of Spurs as well. Just from what he's been brought into, what he knew already, how Brentford were before his time there, because we're a very community-based club. We've relied solely on us having that team spirit as number one priority. We don't have any sort of stupid people that we allowed in. I don't know if we're allowed to swear on him, but there's a particular policy.
It's all good. It's all good.
There's a particular policy in place to stop bad eggs in, which goes on to the Wissa thing quite quickly. Didn't expect that from him, to be fair. Really nice guy. Met him a couple of times. Had plenty of time for my kids. But yeah, I'm gutted about that because unfortunately he's destroyed his legacy as a Brentford player. He's gone from hero to zero, and it's such a shame because we absolutely loved Wiss, but now I just don't see any way coming back. But yeah, as for Thomas Frank, it was a hard one to take, and it's one of the things that I've panicked more about backroom staff and management leaving the club than a player, because of our recruitment is so good and has been for from the start of League One going into Championship, that whole remodeling stage. We've been bang on with that. So with management going, it's always a bit of a worry because they've been there for so long, and you take out the key parts, and it's sometimes hard to get going again.
It is. I mean, I think we kind of based our model a lot on yourselves. We're kind of buying players for, I wouldn't say cheap, but getting them as the young development and then selling them on for big money. You've done that with Ollie Watkins and what have you. But looking at the management situation, so was it a surprise when you got Keith Andrews and I was there was he set piece coach? Was it a big surprise that he stepped up, or do you think you would have gotten a bigger name or an established manager?
I'm not surprised because obviously we did the exact same thing with Thomas Frank, and that worked out pretty well. I was much more happy to recruit within, because he'd only been there a year, but he would have known what the club would have been about. He'd already had a year with the boys that he was then going to manage. He knew how to get the best out of them. He'd seen firsthand how Thomas got the best out of them and how he can deal with him, put his own spin on the way he wanted to run things. So I was always sort of rooting for him and hoping that we would go down that route. If they wouldn't have hired him if they didn't think he could do it. And he'd already put his stamp on last season. He was the coach that came up with the scoring quick. I don't know if you remember that. We had 3 or 4 games where we scored within the first minute. And that was all from him. So he's got some tricks up his sleeve, does old Chief Keef.
Chief Key, I like it. I mean, from the outside looking in, I thought it was a bit of a surprise appointment. I mean, there was some rumours up here that he had been linked with our manager, Regis Lebris, but I don't know how true that was. But that was just rumours that we heard. But like I say, I think that if that's what the spirit is in the community, spirit is in Brentford to promote from in, and that's what works for you. That's what works. But yeah, your transfer business. Obviously, you've lost some key players in the summer. You lost, Brian and Mbeumo, Mark Flecken as well. Obviously the Wissa situation. So, what was your thoughts on losing them big players? I mean, that Mbeumo situation seemed to drag on for weeks and weeks and weeks before it finally got done with Man United.
Yeah, that's it. So that's just purely because we're sticking up to these big clubs. Players will only leave Brentford on Brentford's terms, which is fair enough, because that is, like yourselves, like you say, you're doing a similar model to how we've gone. It's the only way for us small clubs with a very low budget, shoestring budget, to survive in the best league in the world. So for them to try and get players from us on the cheap because they think, oh, a small club, they'll just take this, is a bit of an insult. And I think they'll learn now. They'll have to pay, if they want to buy our best players, they're going to have to stump up and realise we know what we're doing. We're looking at the market as well. And I think that's what happened. A few midfielders, attacking players got sold in that time frame whilst they was waiting for an agreement on Brian. And they was like, well, hang on a minute. Brian scored 20 goals last season. This guy, he's going for, like, you just bought Kuna, and he was nowhere near that for 60+ million. So no, good for us. I was quite proud of that. Gutted to see Brian go, because obviously he was fantastic for us. He has been since we've had him since he was a wee nipper. He was 18, I think, when he joined us. So it's quite hard when you've had quite a household name in our house for 5 years, and that's all my kids have ever known on that wing. So there is it since Tony leaving, and obviously Thomas Frank. They're just like, what other clubs can take our players? What's going on with there?
Do you think he could have went to I want to say a bigger club, but the struggles that Man United are having at the moment. Are you surprised that he went to Man United, or has he always wanted to go there? Do you think he could have aimed higher if he wanted to?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. I just thought the way, like you say, the way Man U are at the moment, there's a massive rebuild there, absolutely massive. Obviously, there's going to be a nice little wage packet there for him, which is fair enough. He's more than earned it. And when players leave on good terms like that, I do wish them all the best. Same with Thomas Frank. Fair play to them. We wish them all the best. They're always welcome back. But yeah, no, I did find I thought maybe he'd go to Spurs with Thomas, to be fair, because that would have been a nice easy chat. But he wants a challenge, so a challenge he's got.
He's got one of them, do you me?
Yeah.
But you've signed some players. Obviously, you signed Ouattara from Bournemouth for big money. I mean, got his first goal in his debut at the weekend, didn't he? So maybe a good player.
That put all the naysayers to rest quite early on, including myself. When you see Brentford splashing out 40 million on a player, you're like, whoa, steady on, boys, steady on. But it's again, it's the recruitment is just so bang on. And what a player I think he's going to be for us. Tons of pace. His footwork looked great in the first game. It's hard to judge on it's the first game, but he was up against a good Aston Villa team. Took the goal really well. He tried to dink it over Martinez initially. Got a bit of luck, which we haven't seen a lot of in those situations. So it was nice to Lady Luck going our way, and he gets a little tap in at the end. But the flick on from Thiago, another signing from season before, but he's almost like a fresh signing himself, because he was out all of last season and he was our last big transfer.
Mhm.
So he got that flick on for the assist. So yeah, the attacking line again, it looks strong. So I'm comfortable there with Tara. I think he'll do it. He'll do good things with us.
Do you think that you need anything else before the transfer deadline on Monday? Is any kind of areas where you think he's still a bit weak or you need to strengthen?
I don't know. I think we definitely, obviously, Wissa's going. I think he has to go either if it's the summer or if he goes in January. Hopefully, the earlier stay. I hope he goes this window because
Yeah.
it's never going to be good for the spirit. And I don't think he would disrupt anything. He'll be upset and he'll be throwing his toys out the pram. But he is training with the squad.
Mhm.
He's not been outcast. He's training with the squad. I think Keith's got a really good relationship with him. And I think that's hard sometimes for people to think about when it's more to do with the higher ups, that sort of business. It's nothing to do with management.
Yeah.
There's no love lost there, so they're still quite pally, I think. And obviously, the squad's going to be, they're still his mates. They all understand how these things go. So I think a striker, definitely another striker, just in case to replace Wissa. But they're hard to find. Out and out number nines are hard to find. Maybe one more sort of attacking midfield. Just because I think we're a little bit light in the midfield. We've got some good youth there, and Henderson, one of your boys. Quite surprised he didn't go with you guys as well.
Don't worry.
He, I've been a bit of a critic. I've said it a couple of times with Henderson, but wow, what a player we've got there on a free. He literally, we missed him that first half against Forest because our midfield was just overrun. And that's what we've brought him in. We've brought him in to solidify, help teach the youth. We've got some young midfielders. And Saturday, he absolutely bossed it. He looked like a fresh 20-year-old bursting on the scene like Marker Richards. It was
Mhm.
it was unbelievable. He was everywhere. He cut out everything that Villa was trying to start. The work rate and the pace of him at 35 years old
Mad, innit?
was just a good statement to older players. It's not always over at 35.
No, and so yeah, we were. I mean, he'd been linked with us all summer, and we were like expecting it to be a no-brainer that he would just turn up at our place. But then it kind of went quiet, and then we thought, oh well. And then when we got Xhaka, that was kind of it. He wasn't coming, but for me, he would have been absolutely perfect for us. Newly promoted, he would have been that calm head in the dressing room, the experience for the younger lads. And why we didn't try and get them, I don't know. I mean, maybe we did. Maybe he didn't want to come back, but
Yeah,
the links were there all summer. But like I say, he's a hell of a player, and like I say, age is just a number. I think now players are playing now at 37, 30, 39. So I think he'd be fantastic for you this season. He really will.
yeah, 100%. If he carries on like he did against Villa, then yeah, we're going to be fine in midfield. But maybe just one more sort of Premier League sort of standard midfielder and a striker. I think that's all we need.
Excellent. So on your start of the season, obviously I watched your first game against Forest, and I mean, after watching you on the first game, I was quite confident about our game on Saturday. But the last two games, I think you've done really well. Obviously, that you beat Villa, and then you had that good win at Bournemouth last night. So, be more positive signs amongst you Bees fans, I'm guessing.
100%. Yeah. That first half at Forest was definitely one to forget, and I have forgotten it. As far as I'm concerned, we won the game 1-0 in the second half. Yeah, it was harsh on the team that we could field. I think Keith fielded what he could, that was fully fit and ready to go. Like Hendo was, he just sort of had a pre-season, still getting some minutes in, so he didn't want to chuck him in. I think he might have had a little knock as well. Same with Sharda. So Sharda didn't start. Damsgaard was missing because his wife had a baby. Congratulations to him. So obviously Damsgaard is a pivotal player for us. He is just a magician in that attacking midfield role. And yeah, it showed us that we really need to keep those guys fit, or have, like I say, another midfielder come in the transfer window and another striker, because games are usually won or lost in midfield, and Forest absolutely took advantage of that on the young lads.
That high press the players was just full on. It was a really high pressing game what they played, and it did catch us out that first game, I thought. But like I say, there was some really good. I wasn't expecting it to beat Villa at the weekend. I thought Villa would maybe sneak it, but fair play. And then last night, I think it's a cracking at Bournemouth, probably with a lot of players that you rested as well, I'm guessing, last night.
Yeah, a really solid performance last night. Just showed us that maybe we have got a really good squad for cup games. They really dealt with it. There was another young squad, an exciting prospect of the youngsters coming through that we've sort of built around in the B team, and young signings that we've made anyway. So that filled me with a lot of confidence. It was a really solid all-round performance. Everyone played an 8 and above. Our second choice keeper, Packen, he had an absolutely brilliant game between the sticks. He had quite a few easy shots to make, but they can be awkward, and it's the way he took them. Usually we see a lot of keepers nowadays just flapping at balls and wanting to get rid of it instead of catching it. Last night, if you get a chance to have or if you have seen it, some of the takes that he made, like diving catches, which is always quite spectacular to see anyway. He dealt with them really well. So we've got good backup there should we need it, and obviously great signing in Keller as a first choice as well. But last night it was nice to see, because maybe we can go on a bit of a cup run, Carabao, and maybe FA Cup if that squad stays fit. That's their achievement to go for, and be that squad that leads us through those cups. So we've got a good bit of squad rotation. We don't have to use the same 11 as we might have to in the Premier League to start.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping we would get through last night, just to give them squad players minutes every other week in the cup. But unfortunately, as Sunderland tend to do quite often, we blew it again. But never mind. But on to Saturday then. So, what's your thoughts on Saturday's game? How do you think you can any weaknesses that you think you've seen in our game? I don't know how much you've seen of us over the last 3 games. Obviously, with the West Ham game, we were really good. The Burnley game, we were awful. Kind of went down to their level, slowed it down to their pace, and then last night, obviously it's a different squad, but we were poor again last night for the first half. So what's your thoughts on Saturday? Do you think you can exploit our weaknesses, or what weaknesses do you think we've got?
Yeah, no, I think obviously the last 2 games have made me a lot more confident for the rest of the season. Obviously seeing your first game, I was impressed how well you played, and I say this all the time, and it's something that me and my granddad used to go on about, is we newly promoted teams, or when your Manchester Cities are playing the teams and newly promoted teams fresh to the league, it's so hard for the teams that know they should win actually trying to win. So it's 100% a mentality thing that some players just think this is going to be a walkover. Not that Brentford would be thinking that, because we're still very much, we've solidified ourselves as a Premier League team, I think, now. And but we will know exactly how you will come at us as a freshly new team. There's not much expected of you guys. It's just you could just turn up and just absolutely obliterate us. Just the way the Premier League is, but obviously I'll be confident after the last 2 games. I think we put in 2 solid performances, scored goals, clean sheets. So I am confident of a win, but you never know. You never know with Brentford. Like I've said to you before, when we were chatting on the text, it's one of those. We hope for the win, but we'll see what happens on the day.
It's one of them, like you say, it all depends which team turns up on the day. I always think in these games, I keep on saying on my videos that the first goal is massively crucial. I think if we're at home, like proving at West Ham, we got the first goal and we just ran the show from then. But it could have been a different story. West Ham had a great chance in the first half to score, and if they had done, it's a different game. So I think the first goal is always crucial. But is there any weaknesses that you have got that you think we could exploit?
I don't think so. And usually I would find one, but I think even the back line, yeah, I just think the back line is the best we've had for a long time. Especially now we've had 2 seasons without wing backs and have managed to stay in the league and finish quite respectably. But now we've got Rico back, we've got Aaron Hickey back, we've got Michael Coyote, which we signed on a permanent in the summer. He is an absolute he will give you hell. It's not just the Brentford's attacking threat, it's those wing backs. They will just
I like him.
yeah. I mean, he did really good last year playing out of position. He's a left winger. And he was playing that position all last season, and he did. I think he found his natural role, to be fair, as a left wing back, because he can get forward and he's got really good defence on him. I just don't. It is literally. I think our weakness is going to be the fact I mentioned about if we go into this game really naive, thinking it's going to be a walkover, because no team's a walkover in the Premier League, newly promoted or not. We've seen what you can do if people come at you naive. West Ham aren't the greatest team, obviously, as they have been. But you boys, it's not easy beating a team of Premier League, quality as West Ham have had 3-0 on your first day. So they'll be aware. I think Keith Andrews sets up really well. I think every manager, Thomas Frank and Keith Andrews, are quite similar in the fact that they won't take anyone for granted, which fills me with the confidence. But yeah, no, I can't see where, respectfully enough, I really can't see a weakness, which is nice for me. It's actually quite nice.
That's a good sign, isn't it?
Pretty well at the moment. So
excellent.
I do wish you all the best. But yeah, no, I've watched your games, and I don't think he was bad against Burnley at all.
No, we had a chance in the first 3 minutes and we didn't score.
Yeah.
At this level, when you didn't take your chances, it comes back to bite you, and that's exactly what happened.
Premier League is bang on for that as well. If you don't take those chances, it's cruel. We've had plenty of times where it's against like Manchester United, where I think Thomas Frank said we absolutely destroyed them, but we lost 3-1. But we did. We was all over them all game, and it just wouldn't go in, sort of thing. So they would have watched your previous games and been like, look, they are a danger, because you are going forward. You've got some pace going forward.
Yeah.
So and you can score goals in the Premier League. So you've proved that already. So you just never know.
I think our midfield might be the key. We've got Siddiqui and Diarra in there. Energy that honestly, against West Ham, I thought there was 3 of them on the pitch that would just seem to be everywhere. So I don't know if the energy. I don't know, buzzing around Henderson. I don't know. I can't wait for to see Henderson back at the stadium. Actually, it's going to be really, really good, and the welcome he'll get will be class. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. But what's your realistic kind of prospect for the season? Where do you expect Brentford to finish this season?
Beginning of the season, before the ball was kicked, I was very optimistic and went 7th. Now after the Forest game, I was like, oh, I'll take 14th. And now I'm sitting at around 10th, 11th. So that sort of where we've been sort of hitting, it's going to be a bit of a transitional season. As long as we can keep everyone that we need fit, I think the midfield is going to be key. We really need to rotate and be careful with that midfield, because we need Hendo, we need Damsgaard, we need Yeehaw Yomalik. He's a really young, exciting player. He's going to have a great season. I just want no injuries. I don't want any injuries this season. We've had 2 seasons of like 7+ players out at a time, and how we managed to still be in the league is beyond me. It just goes to show the management and the support that the boys have got, and obviously their levels as well.
Done a cracking job.
Yeah. What about yourself?
With us, we are down to the bare bones in defence. With Dan Bollard, we lost him against Burnley. He's out for 3 or 4 weeks with a bone injury. Last night we've had a player, Jensen Seelt, who played at the start of the season, who didn't hardly kick a ball last season, missed the whole season through injury. Only young, still not Premier League ready. I don't think he's probably going to go out on loan before the window shuts. We signed Nordi McQuillier from Paris Saint-Germain, who played last night and looks really, really good. We also signed Omar Alderete from Atletico Madrid, and them two at the back look solid. So our defence at this moment in time doesn't look too bad, but if we get injuries, we will struggle. I don't know whether you've seen as well the transfers that we've made. We've signed a lot of African players, and so come December, when the AFCON's on, we could have half a team, which for me is worrying, because I think we need them points on the board early. We saw our start as a good start. West Ham, Burnley, yourselves, we thought it was games where we could take points from. Obviously, losing to Burnley kind of has put a spanner in the works, so we'll be looking on Saturday to get back to winning ways. I just hope we turn it, and I hope we start fast, because I think the longer the game goes on, the more that use will come into the game. So it's going to be a tough game, really, really tough game. I'd probably settle for a draw, to be fair. What's your thoughts? What's your score prediction for the weekend?
Before I get on to score prediction, I just wanted to say, I think, as you were saying there, you've seen the first 3 fixtures as a, and definitely we will definitely be one of the teams you would have been looking at. We can get points off of. We should be getting points off of if we want to stay up. That's the level we've got to hit. And obviously Burnley's banner in the works. But 100%. That's another thing we'll know, that you'll be looking at us to get points. So it could go either way. I'm gonna go 2-0 away win.
2-0 away. Clean sheet as well.
Yeah, I think
I'm going to go. I think we're going to sneak it 1-0. I think we might just nick it. I think it'll be a really, really tough, tight game. But I'm just going to go for a very, very, very narrow 1-0 win. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed. Well, just before we wrap up, Simon, it's been brilliant having you on. Thank you very much. But do you want to give a shout out to your channel and on your socials and where everyone can see you and look at your content?
Yeah, of course. Thanks, mate. YouTube will be on the wall. All the socials will be on the wall as well. Instagram, TikTok. Still in the maintenance phase at the moment, but I'll be up and running soon, hopefully.
Good stuff. Well, head across to Simon's channel, be on the wall. I'll put the links in the description below, so you can head across and look at some content. It's good. I really, really like having these collaborations with other Premier League teams, because I'm now subscribed to all the Premier League ones, and it's good just to kind of see and get their feeling and their kind of thoughts heading into our game and getting what the opposition are thinking. So it's good. It's really, really good. But Simon, thanks for having you on. Really, really appreciate it. Good luck for the rest of the season after Saturday, of course. Hope you have a good one. And thank you very much for coming on. We do appreciate it. And
thank you very much, I hope we do share the points with you guys. So all the best.
Thank you. Cheers, mate. Right, we'll see you in a bit. Watch out for the match preview, the match review coming out of the game on Saturday. And obviously any transfer news that happens before then, I'll sure to be jump on and update you. But till the next time, we'll see you later. Ta-ra.
Sunderland's where we live and fight with pride.